అవి హోల్స్ ఉంటాయి నా హోల్స్ లో అది ఓపెన్ చేస్తే వాటర్ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది.
Yes, friends, you read that right. This is a human engineering marvel. The Bharat Empire's elevated bridge was flooded, despite being several meters above ground. If it had a few functioning drainage outlets, it wouldn't have been so embarrassing. However, the Bharat Empire's engineers seem to have forgotten to design drainage outlets. In my previous videos, I repeatedly mentioned India's bizarre infrastructure. Bridges collapsing days after major repairs, dams being washed away soon after completion, causing numerous casualties. Yet in the Bharat Empire, the one resource not in short supply is people. This country is the world's most populous and continues to grow. Therefore, for the Bharat Empire, skimping on a few drainage outlets or using substandard materials for dams and bridges is no big deal. Even if accidents occur, the Modi government compensates victims at a mere $2,000 per life, cheaper than some high-end pet dogs. Modi fans in the comment section always challenge me, saying I make these videos criticizing India because I'm afraid of their country becoming powerful and surpassing China. They claim I envy the Bharat Empire's astonishing achievements and thus relentlessly smear Modi. I'm genuinely curious. Indians clearly have internet access and can easily see other countries' cities. Not to mention powerhouses like China, the US, Japan, or Singapore, even cities in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, or Latin America are 100 times more modern and cleaner than those in the Bharat Empire. Why do they love posting videos of New Delhi or Mumbai, then boast wildly? Don't they realize that in the eyes of netizens from other countries, they're like beggars flaunting wealth? Their urban development level is even worse than Rwanda's in Africa. So why do they brag on social media? I've mentioned before that the Bharat Empire doesn't just fake bridges and dams. Even their highways are just a thin layer of asphalt over dirt roads. Yet they claim their highway mileage has surpassed China's, making them second in the world. If Bharat's netizens love topping rankings, China could simply withdraw from these lists and let Indians entertain themselves. For instance, the Superpower Club, Aerospace Power Club, Hypersonic Missile Club, Nuclear Weapon Club, Aircraft Carrier Club, and so on. All these honors could belong to the Bharat Empire. China could voluntarily admit defeat to the Bharat Empire and permanently give up competing with it. Speaking of fakery, the Bharat Empire's most notorious industry internationally is its telecom fraud business. Indian immigrants forge fake diplomas and other documents to move to Western countries, falsify credentials during corporate hiring, and enter Western companies, severely undermining the core competitiveness of those nations. The once dominant U.S. tech industry has rapidly declined after being Indianized. Now, except for AI and chip industries led by Chinese talent, the U.S. has lost its leading edge in nearly all sectors. Check closely: new energy, electric vehicles, shipbuilding, robotics, drones, aerospace technology, and more. The U.S. no longer has the capital to compete with China. After Silicon Valley tech giants heavily hired Indian CEOs and engineers, the U.S. has been thoroughly defeated by China in the tech war. I wonder if this is why Trump repeatedly humiliated Modi. As for claims that we Chinese envy the Bharat Empire, I find it hard to understand. I've heard of the poor envying the rich, but never anyone envying a beggar. The Bharat Empire is poorer than many African countries, and crucially, even the dirtiest African nations aren't as filthy as the Bharat Empire. What exactly are Chinese supposed to envy? After much thought, perhaps we should envy Indians' thick skin and shamelessness. After all, for Chinese people, India's filth, poverty, backwardness, and lack of integrity are shocking. Even during China's poorest and most morally degraded times, it never had the hellish living conditions seen in Indian society today. If most people had to choose between being a pet dog in China or a human in India for their next life, Most Chinese would choose to stay in China, even as a pet dog. Faking infrastructure like bridges and dams might only result in a few dozen deaths and accidents, barely noticed by global media. But faking technology or military prowess makes you a global laughingstock. For example, the Bharat Empire boasts of being the world's third military power, yet it has been repeatedly thrashed by China in border conflicts. Its self-proclaimed Asia's top air force was humiliated when Pakistan's Air Force shot down 5 fighter jets and a drone in a few hours. An incident so significant that it prompted U.S. President Trump to confirm the Bharat Empire's crushing defeat in a speech. Yet none of this stops the clown Modi from boasting worldwide that India will become a developed nation by 2047. However, whether the Bharat Empire will even exist in 2047 is questionable. Under Modi's Hindu extremist leadership, India is trapped in a vicious cycle of boasting, faking, and being exposed. Its GDP data, mixed with cow dung, is no longer trusted by global media, and international capital and foreign companies increasingly dare not enter India. India has become the country with the highest tariff barriers globally, turning into an economic island. By 2047, the braggart Modi may long be dead, but India will keep paying the price for his boasts.